Hello everyone, it's me. I should say that to the camera. Hello everyone, it's Lainey. I'm about to go across the bridge. I'm going to go into town. I'm going to go to Mowbray Park and hopefully the museum. So I'll see if I can get in anyway. And I'll show you around. See you in a bit. Bye. So this is the museum, as you can see. And this is just a still shot. I'll have to put some moving footage in a minute. There you go. Basically, the museum was originally built round the corner in a smaller place in like 1846, and it moved to this larger building in 1879. Also included a winter garden and a library, and it was inspired by Crystal Palace, not the football team, obviously. um, and during the war, the Second World War, the Winter Garden was damaged and then later demolished. I've got a photo of that a bit further on. And the one that's the old picture of the front of the museum from and there is the old Winter Garden, which looks a lot cooler than the one we have now, I think. And this is where the inspiration for Crystal Palace came. As you can see, I'm now inside and I'm going to go into the pottery. So Sunderland did a lot of pottery as well as glassmaking and shipbuilding and mining. We did a lot where, and there's quite a big collection inside the museum itself, ranging from 1720 right through to 1957. I particularly like the sort of brown and mustardy coloured stuff. There's some other further around. Not keen on the pink, and yet the pink was pretty famous. Started by Wedgwood, wasn't it? But we apparently made a cheaper version of it. And so it became pretty popular, as you can imagine. But there's all sorts of plaques, jugs, coffee pots, statues, you name it. If they made it in pottery, they could be made in pottery, they made it in pottery. And a lot of there was like memorial plaques that people used to buy that, had their loved ones' names on and the dates and things like that. Um, they were quite popular back then, apparently. And obviously, like these big type of jugs with depictions of sea adventures, or some of them had religion on. I think the choice further around. There was all kinds of different ones. Um, I mean, none of these really appeal to me. Like I said, there is some brown and white stuff that I saw, and there was some striped, very nice striped. I don't know the correct terminology. A lot of this stuff was made with pottery, which was probably the biggest, I think, um, at the time in Sunderland, and it was just, yeah, it was just a really big industry. There's like literally loads of it. Like, I mean, yeah, that obviously depicts a bridge. I'm not sure which one. Looks like the train bridge more than anything else, but it's probably not. Um, but it's really hard when there's glass because it reflects. So everything's in a case and it just reflects on you. So I love this brown stuff here that are not on the top shelf but on the second shelf there. That, like, I just think it's so pretty. I really like that. I don't know what it's called properly. If it's just some form of lusterware. Um, I know that there's a lot of you out there that should be able to tell us, hopefully. Um, but I tried to sort of include the bottom part where I give you more information, but it was quite hard sort of trying to make it show, as you can see. Obviously, I don't realise this till after, um, but I also noticed there was a collection of frog mugs, and I seem to have missed those, or I've missed adding them into this. I always think it's quite weird how the element of fun or surprise was to put a, a frog, ornamental frog, inside your cup so you could surprise people. There's your cup of tea just as you're drinking down, I guess, to give them a shock. What were they expecting? I'm assuming there'd be a lot of broken, yeah, a lot of broken mugs back then. But yeah, I mean, there's quite a large, like I said, quite a large, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Large collection. Yes, that would work, Lenny. You can see me, look, in my mask. See me in my mask there in the reflection. Um, like I said, I'm not really keen on this sort of pink and pink wear. So that's a statue of Robbie Burns, who's a Scottish poet. Not sure why we have that. I think it was presented to us by the Sunderland Burns Club, apparently. So after just reading that. But yeah, I'm not sure why that was. Again, it's a lot more drugs and other things. And then we've moved on to the Through the Ages works. Now this was a carved sandstone head, which we thought was a seal or another animal. And it was found in the foundations on top of a medieval Saxon wall in Mowbray, which is where near where near where I live. It looks a bit dinosaurish to me though. And so all of this area is basically about sort of through the ages really. So Anglo-Saxon, medieval, and all of that different kind of stuff. I'm really educational, aren't I? It's what you come here for, isn't it? I know it is. See the Bronze Age there. Look, I can see that just about. And the Ice Age and all of them different things. And obviously there's St Peter's Church there. It's Anglo-Saxon back in the day. Back in the day. I don't really know much about the chair. Um, the line in the box thing that gave you a description of Wallace. It told you about his life. The lion on the floor is from a pub a long time ago, and that is a replica of the lighthouse. And as we move round, you will see my nemesis. This is Wallace. Now, I was scared of Wallace as a kid. I used to run past him wherever he was, but I had to side glance him because I just felt like he was watching me, and he always was, obviously. And I still felt a bit like that when I seen him the other day. It was a bit of a trip down memory lane. I don't. Wallace didn't have a great life. He was born into the circus in 1860. He was trained to perform by Martini Macklemore. The act was described as not for the faint-hearted. Wallace attacked Martini during an act in Sunderland in 1868, and 2 years later Martini died, which was also in Sunderland. He died of rheumatic fever when he was here. Wallace was obviously beaten off him at the time, but recovered to perform again, and he survived a few more years but died in 1875. Wallace was then bought by the museum in 1879 and has been on display ever since. That's literally over 140 years, which is mental when you think about it. This is a picture of him with a group of blind children in 1917. Um, and I still have this sort of love hate thing for him a bit. Like I'm a bit still a bit scared of him, but like I think you know he um he obviously wouldn't have had a good life in the circus. That just didn't happen, did it? And obviously, I don't actually agree with the stuffing of animals, but obviously, this was done a long time ago, and you know, he just has this look of like smugness, I think. But maybe that was because of what he did. He just was like, yeah, I got my own back. That walrus over there is from Siberia, and apparently we've had it since 1880s or something. Um, and the Nissan Bluebird, the white car you seen in the background, was the first car to be built in the Nissan plant in Sunderland, and that was in 1986. Um, it's kind of a mix mash of what's in here, really. But yeah, it's just fond memories, and it's been a long time since I've seen him, so it was nice to go back, but it was still a bit weird just remembering and still having that little feeling of like, oh my God, you know what I mean? But he's cool. He's definitely cool. So there were some weird things on the wall, ancient Egypt things that I guess pickled and whatever. Um, and like I said before, it was hard to try and film and move around at the same time. So I didn't want to crash on anything, which would have been disastrous, wouldn't it? Um, but yeah, as a turn, this is an example of or is a diver's suit from the 1920s, which looks bloody heavy. Can you imagine trying to walk in that when you were in the water? That would have been like a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. Anyway, moving on. This is it's a tribute to to nearly 200 years of mining, because we did, as a lot of places did, have really big mining communities, and so this is a sort of insight of the life that it was and the dangers and the hardships that people who had a mining lifestyle went through. So they've made this area to look a bit like a shaft, like an underground. Just say a shaft on the wall there. I don't know if you can see it. Um, and it was simple enough for me to get round. Like it wasn't, there was little parts where I was like, oh, I might not get through there and whatever, but mostly it was fine. I didn't have any issues. Um, it's like mine works, I think. I didn't really pay attention, which isn't really good, is it? When you're showing people things. Um, but this is kind of like it goes on to show you like the things people had and the way things looked in the 1930s. Um, as you will see going through there, it also talked about people who worked in mines didn't live very long. They only had a short life because of, the damage they were doing to themselves through the inhaling of the dust and stuff, which must have done havoc with their lungs and things like that. Um, and then in here, which is like is showing you like all sorts of things from the 1930s and what it was um, like from sewing baskets, knitting baskets to the crockery and cutlery, and then even a kitchen range, which is from 1930s, which had a back boiler and then the mirror. Now I remember my granddad having a fireplace similar to that. Could only get into the edge of this. This is the Winter Gardens. It has over 1,500 plants, and there are 100 different species all growing together under the same roof, despite the wildly different origins because of the able to reflect the different climates from around the world. So it's pretty cool, but unfortunately, like I said, I could only get into the edge of it. As you see, that glass bit at the side there, that there's a cafe there. Um, but I did show a bit of footage further on of the outside of it as I went past the window, and there was a peach flower. So you can see that as it goes by. I asked if I could film, by the way, and they said yes, that it wasn't a problem. And the only place that I couldn't film or wouldn't be allowed to film would be in the Lowry Gallery. I guess that's for, circumstances of thieving, I would assume. But before going on to this, is a picture of obviously Wallace Lowry, which is of Roker Beach. And if you've seen other pictures that I've video footage and pictures that I've taken, the bank that goes down, you'll know, is the bank that I always talk about. I can't get down. So this was depicted in, I think, the 60s at some point. But yeah. The other things that are upstairs in the art gallery, which I couldn't get to, would have been Worlds Alive, which is a lots of stuffed animals and insects and things. Sunderland's Glorious Glass, 20th century Sunderland, Lost Worlds, the Victorian Gallery, Faith and Science, Launched on Wearside, which is about shipbuilding, and then the L.S. Lowry Gallery. So what Lowry said of Sunderland was he was travelling back home. He said he described his discovery of Sunderland in 1960. Sunderland then became his second home at one point, and he said that one day he was travelling south from Tyneside, and he realised this was what he'd always been looking for. So that's what he thought of Sunderland. I mean, as much as I love Sunderland myself, his standards weren't very high. Just kidding. I love Sunderland myself, so yeah. Sunderland Museum has a rather large collection of Lowry's work, which is probably why I wasn't allowed to film, because obviously, Calista thought I was plotting to nick them or something in my wheelchair. Can you imagine? I shouldn't probably be saying this on the internet, should I? Because I'll probably get wrong for some reason. But because they are worth quite a bit of money, aren't they? These little stick men and stick women and stick dogs. Yeah. Okay.
Actually, get mine over at
You made it.
I went out the other way. So I have just come out of the museum. I'm now in the park behind. So this is all the back of the museum. That is the Winter Gardens, which I showed you the tiny bit of. I didn't really speak much in there, but I will, obviously. Just show you as I go along. But yeah, I'll show you the pond and the animals better over that side. The animals, the birds, Lenny, the birds. I mean, that's a pigeon. All there, getting fed. See, you can see one swan and not the other one. These. Well, anyway, I'll show you better the other way. We'll go around and see ya. Just a big bird shit on that, isn't there? It's one of the sandstone lions. I think these were replaced in the 90s, 97 maybe. I'll let you know again. I did know, but I can't remember. It's nice round here. Well, windows need cleaning. Oh, look at the peach coloured flower. Whatever that is. There's another one of the sandstone lions. I think that's an apartment complex. Get me with an apartment complex, you know what I mean? Right, go over this way. Sorry, I just realised I still had my mask on, so I've took that off. It's weird because I hated wearing it, and the second I used to come out of shops, I'd be going, take it off, you know what I mean? And now I'm kind of like, I forgot. Right, I don't really know what this is. Some sort of sculpture-y thing. I mean, it's nice. In gold. So we'll read this. So, given to the city of Sunderland by people of Saint Nazari, is that? Can't even read. It's really dirty and my eyes are terrible. The propellers like boat propellers? They're huge. The propellers symbolise the city's relationship with twin towns, December 2003. And then something in foreign. So Nazaire, I think that says. I think. Nazaire? Saint Nazaire? It makes sense now when you to know that the propellers, doesn't it? Of course it does.
Yeah. See, the best thing for a coffee shop is.
This is voiceover Laney again. I've decided to edit this bit because it was just too much of us sniffing as my nose and eyes were streaming. Anyway, this is like the side as you go around the pond. Over in the distance, which I'm just about to zoom, you'll see like there's a pre-built like bird's nest thing. Don't know which bird it's for, the ducks or swans or what. Probably ducks, I think, or someone. And then a bit further along there's the bridge, which is just really pretty. Well, the whole of this area is really pretty anyway. Even though it's like October, it's just a lovely day it was. Bit chilly not in the sun, but other than that it was nice. Where we're about to go is the Victoria Hall disaster. So I'm about to show you that next, which is this. This is the Victoria Hall disaster memoriam. In 1883, 1,100 children attended a child's variety show. And at the end, they were given away prizes, so all the children rushed to get to the staircase to get one. Someone had bolted one of the doors at the bottom of the staircase, and so only one child could fit through at a time. But obviously, because all of the children had gone, those at the front were basically crushed, and sadly, 183 children died, aged between 3 and 14 years old. The doors opened inwards, so they couldn't even open the door from the inside to be able to help. And when you've got over 1,000 children trying to run down the same staircase, yeah, it wasn't good. Donation. So this is a picture of Victoria Hall itself. Donations were sent from all over Britain to pay for the children's funerals and the memorial of a grieving mother holding on to a or holding on to a dead child. There was national outrage afterwards, resulting in the inquiry that meant public entertainment venues had to be fitted with outward opening doors and emergency exits, and that the invention of the push bar was done not long after that. No one was prosecuted for the disaster, and whoever bolted the door never was identified. The hall afterwards remained shut until it was eventually destroyed by a parachute bomb in 1941. So yeah, can you imagine that though? That must have been just horrific to have witnessed, um, dying because of asphyxiation through crushing, which is what a lot of them did. It's just horrifying, like to even comprehend that, like, and I just can't imagine how those families felt, and some of them lost all of their children in one go, you know what I mean? How do you even get your head around that? I mean, obviously the nation came together to pay for their funerals, but it's just so sad. Devastating, wouldn't it be? I mean, just even the thought of losing your child is utterly devastating. To watch it and be helpless at the same time, just can't even begin to imagine what that would be like. And it's not something you want to comprehend, is it, when you've got kids? Not at all. But yeah. So as we're going to move on and go further around the park, and I'll hand you back to Lainey, who was there at the time. Lainey, sounds weird saying that, doesn't it? But yeah,
it's beautiful, this park.
hand you back to her.
I think this Inheriting, which I'll never get to because it's way too far from me, are probably the two nicest, most well kept, I guess. This is in town centre, isn't it? So, or city centre, so don't often get this much green space in the middle of a city centre, do you? Well, maybe not quite in the middle, but it's close, isn't it? I think your birds are singing today. I can't even get to some of that to show you, which is disappointing because the top of up here, it goes high, like it climbs and climbs. As you can see, I don't know if you can tell, there's already a bank going up, and it climbs to like there's hills, and there's like a door on the side of a hill, and there's some like a Alice in Wonderland thing and a few other bits, but anything I don't get to show you, I will put pictures in. It's just so pretty, isn't it? And then it's a lovely day as well, which is nice. It's nice to have another lovely day. That's a bit steep. I mean, this is steep, but that's steeper. Look at my logic, it's steeper. Oh, look at his face. Oh, someone's injured his face. Why would someone do that? Bless him, he's got no nose and mouth. Oh, I'm feeling sorry for him now. That's not good. Poor thing. These are made of steel, they're steel arbours. And they've got like, don't know if I'll be able to show you because I don't think I'll get in there, but obviously this one's got sunflowers on the top, but then in there it says if love was a lion, and I can't remember the rest of it, that goes all around the inside. I'll put the quote in because I do know I've seen it somewhere. And there's another one of these over the other side. But again, I'll give you more information on them. It's really pretty. Honestly, I don't know if I'm just having a day with hay fever, but I've never stopped. My nose and eyes, it's just streaming. Right, through there's a kids park bit, which again I can't get to because these just go too steep. Well, they look like they do. Yeah, so I'm already like practically upright, which is not good. See this bit, it's just beautiful, isn't it? It's just beautiful. Did I say it like that? Yes, I did. Did you see? So nice. And my mate and he's all dizzy, just spin round, doing donuts in the middle of a park. How cool am I? Anyway, I've stopped doing donuts now. Sometimes I wonder how old I am, you know. Just trying to see if I can see through there, but it's all just sort of banks and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty nice here. It is sure pretty nice. There's bandstands over there. I'll show you a close up in a bit. Dog. Bless him. So yeah, this is the bridge over, which is fine. The bridge is fine, but where he's walking up there, that is not fine for me. Way too steep. Which is a shame that I can't show you the rest. Or anything up that way. But there's still a lot this way anyway. John Candlish there. I think it was something to do with government. I'm not sure, to be fair. And then there's like the fountain down the bottom of the lands. Always I'll take you a closer look that way in a minute. But we'll go along here first. So this is the other steel harbour. Again, so pretty. This one has roses on the side. If you can see them. And it says if love was a rose, and again I can't remember the rest of it, but I will let you know. It's pretty. So, go that way in a bit. I'll go this way first, I think. No, should we go this way first? Yeah, we'll go this way first. Such a lovely day. What are they called? Balustrades or balustrades or something. It's basically put there to stop you falling off in it. Which I need those around my whole life. There's the back of the bandstand or the side. pretty.
Yeah, we're walking home. And this man shouted to me, "You're all very pretty now." So that's the back of John Candlish, who was in shipbuilding, and I think he was like a politician as well in Sunderland. No, he wasn't. He was a glass maker, glass bottle maker. I was thinking of the other guy out at the museum. So we're coming down here towards the William Hall drinking fountain. I think you'll also see the side angle of the bandstand. I believe I turned to look at it. Yeah, I'm sure I did. Yes, I did. There you go. This is the other side of the bandstand. Um, this was rebuilt, I think it was in 2000s or the 90s. I'm not sure. Um, but the fountain down the bottom of here that has been there since 1878, and it was obviously restored. Um, it was in memory of William Hall, who was an odd fellow. Now, an odd fellow to me is someone who's an odd fellow, but apparently it's a fraternity group, bit like the Freemasons and stuff like that. And that is a chair in honour of the fallen soldiers. So coming down towards the pond now, well, coming round towards it, and in the distance you can see the walrus. He was built in 2000, or he's put there in 2000. He apparently Lewis Carroll had links to Sunderland, and so therefore inspired this through the poem The Walrus and the Carpenter. There's other nods to Lewis Carroll throughout the parts of Alice in Wonderland. Game chessboard, I think it is. Few of the bits. When I was here looking round, this little kid touched it, and then I was with her, and she was getting, "Oh, don't touch that! Don't touch that!" And you'll get bird poo on your hands. And she went, "I want to eat the bird poo." She must have been about 3. I was like, oh my god, kids come out with the weirdest things. As you can see, I'm speeding around, checking out my zooming skills, which is thinking I'm cool. While the swans and the ducks are chilling out. They seem to be going a bit fast, this, but maybe that is just me. There's a lot of pigeons over there just being fed a load of bread, and there's me trying to get the ducks in. I realise how, well, it just looks so fast, doesn't it? Every time I keep getting the walrus's head back in. Let me zoom into the swan. So majestic. Oh, yeah, the birds flew. Forgot about that bit. So I tried to catch them, but I've got the end. Then another set flew the other way. Again, didn't really do a very good job of catching it either. I try. There's like loads of ducks with the black heads, and you see that with like got like luminous orange eyes. They're like really freaky looking. I mean, cool, but looking at the same time. And this one's just like minding their own. They don't care. They're just enjoying myself, chilling out. Yeah, they're just chilling out, and we come along and disturb them. So I'm going to make my way around. As you can see over there, there's the War Memorial with the winged figure of victory at the top. I have got a picture at the end that shows her being built by Richard Ray. No relations, it's spelled R-A-Y, not the same as mine. She was unveiled on Boxing Day in 1922. The memorial was originally built for those who died in the First World War, but is now used to remember everyone. And as you go down here, there's a veterans walk, so you can lay a slate stone, and whether the army or any serviceman or woman has passed away or not, that can be laid on the veterans walk, which is a nice way. It's very pretty, like the granite really shows up lovely. The slate, is it granite or slate? Your brain's gone now. It's slate. I think the wall is made of granite, is it? One or the other. I apologise. But yeah, I had a look at the actual plaque that had it there, which tells you all about it. I suppose you can't really see properly in that. A permanent reminder of your service history. That's what it says at the top there. So if we just come out here and where the actual war memorial is, which, yeah, and there's Victory at the top. So on this side it says 1914 to 1990 on 1919. On the other side, Christ, why did that spin round like that? I don't know why I did. on this side, it says a tribute to our glorious dead. And then on the other side it says, well, you'll see, I think I showed it. Maybe I didn't. On the other side it says 1939 to 1945. And then obviously it's the back of Victory at the top there. They shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. And then all along here is the different wars that's been in, and sadly there's a bit where I had the camera had the camera held and it dropped slightly, but I didn't notice, so I didn't catch every name of everywhere. That's where it dropped, unfortunately. But that goes all the way around the outside. I think this is what's made of granite, or maybe it's marble. Honestly, I'm terrible, I apologise. But yeah, is War Memorial to go. I think it's quite a nice one. As you can see, my camera's come back up now, so I can show you better. Obviously, it's every Remembrance Days it's used, and poppies are laid, and it's yeah, makes me spinning around again, honestly. And there you go, as you look up. Unfortunately, the lighting was terrible. The sun was just blinding us, and that's her back in, I don't know, 19, whenever it was, when the artist started it, or the sculptor, started it back in, I don't know how long it have took them to make, but I know she was unveiled on Boxing Day 1922, but you would think it would be in a couple of years, and if it was put into commission straight after the war in 1919, then possibly 3 years. But very beautiful, isn't it? Hello everyone, just to do an ending to today, I as you've seen, I've been to the museum and the park and everything, and yeah, it was really good. I couldn't go up in the lift, that was the only thing. I couldn't go up in the lift in the museum, so I couldn't see the things on the other floors. I asked the museum if I could film, which they said I could, as long as I didn't film in the Lowry Gallery, which I wasn't allowed. But to be honest, it was upstairs, and the lift was sort of thinner looking. I think I would have got in just, but there wasn't much room, and I think it would have just freaked us out, and so I didn't go up. I decided that it wasn't worth the risk. But still, I got to see Wallace, who was my nemesis as a child. I used to run past, but like look at him at the same time. I couldn't help it, like when I was young. Like, but yeah, but it was good. I enjoyed it. I hope you've all enjoyed it too. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe and all of that stuff. And I will catch you next time. Bye bye.